Can you please explain the concept of lokas? What's the connection with the vision of heaven that we know from Christian religions? Heaven in Christianity is also a loka. That's what. Loka means that which is, it has two derivations. Lokyate iti lokaha, that which is experienced is called loka. Lokyate anena iti lokaha, that due to which you experience something is also loka, as in one's own sense organs sometimes called loka. But here loka means the field of experience. So in our tradition we have 7 up and 7 down. Down means little worse off than the earth, what we are calling nether world, etc. Patala, atala, vitala, sutala, dharatala, rasatala, mahatala, patala. These are the 7 down. 7 up, bhuhu, bhuvaha, suvaha, mahaha, tapaha, janaha, satyam. Satyam is equal to Brahmaloka. This is your reach with your karma. These are the places you can go. And wherever you go, you are a guest there. And they will not allow you to behave like a pest. There is a very fine difference between guest and pest. So, therefore what? So, therefore, it is a temporary place. You go, you enjoy, and then you have to return. Because what takes you is your own punya. And punya is expendable or not? Yes. Because it was collected and then it gets expended. So here you went for a holiday in, there it is holiday out. That's all. Then after that you come back. Kshine punye, the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita says, Martya lokam vishanti. You re-enter the world of mortals. Perhaps every baby cries upon birth, maybe remembering, I was in a fantastic loka, what happened all of a sudden? And so it's different from the Christian concept of heaven, because there they say the heaven is permanent. If heaven is outside of you and it is permanent, it cannot be limitless. It cannot be permanent because you delimit it. So, but for them, heaven is permanent. For us, all these lokas are temporary. Only the one who goes to these lokas, namely you, are the only one that is permanent. And you have to recognize that, otherwise you will keep going to various lokas. And even on earth, we go to various lokas. Go to a holiday, go for a holiday in the mountains, go for a holiday in the plains, go for a holiday somewhere else. Everywhere holiday, that is what one wants. And so there is a kind of an escaping in going to these lokas also. And many people, looking at the first portion of the Veda, they only choose these afterlife things and they keep wanting to do this again and again, keep wanting to go to various lokas. And to them we say, Namaha. That's all there is to say. Very kindly, you can say, okay, this is what you want, you can get that. So, that is about the lokas. Next one. If our swadharma is not always in alignment with dharma, like Arjuna who needs to kill, does following our duties get the priority over following dharma? It is, tomorrow we will see in the Bhashya where it is argued that if you, let's say, somebody's Swadharma is that of an executioner. He's working for the state and death penalty, and he has to, nowadays how do they kill people? By injection, lethal injection. So it is his job to push the syringe into the inmate who is on death row and whose life has to be ended. And in the olden times, it was his job to pull the string which was around the neck of the person who was ready to be put to death. And it is so, in this way, what happens is that there is a there should not be, they say, any kind of a duvidha, because he is not killing on his own. That is his job. It's part of his job, and so no papa will accrue to the executioner. There is a group of people who say that. And so here also, this Arjuna is also told, in fighting this war, in so many words we will see in the second chapter, no papa will accrue to you. In fact, in not fighting it, you will attract papa. So it's not about the killing so much, but just about doing the duty. And here, even though it says ahimsa paramo dharma, what kind of ahimsa? Because leaving those tyrants in place, there is himsa to the whole lot of people. Whole groups and groups of people are suffering because of these people being in power, having usurped the power illegally and running the kingdom into the ground. So himsa is that the better himsa, or is this the better himsa? That is his confusion. Very difficult place. That's why he opts for self-knowledge so that he can deal with the confusion properly. You mentioned it's okay to pray for whatever we want, but it feels to me the opposite of surrender. How can I, with my mind, know what is best for me? As they say, be careful what you wish for. Very nice question. But even in asking what you wish for, what you want, there is a surrender. Is there not? Of course there is a surrender, because you have kind of given it over to an entity higher than yourself, and you are saying, I want this, please give me. You are not acting on your own behalf, either because you have understood that it is impossible to get this, or because you know you need help. So in either case, in either way, there is some letting go, and that letting go of manufacturing your own desires and your own wishes is a form of surrender, is definitely surrender. That's one level of surrender, because one has to start somewhere. It's surrender 101. Okay. Then if you want to go deeper in that surrender, then you say, whatever you want, you give. And whatever you give, I will take. So it's one thing to say, whatever you want, O Lord, give, and then say, hey, you take this back. No, then the next thing I have to say is, whatever you want, you give, and whatever you give, I will take. That is the next level of surrender. It just, you can't suddenly go somewhere. You have to start small. Suddenly you cannot lift 150 pounds. You have to start with 1 pound, going like this. So surrender is also like that. Because what is the ahankara used to? Being in charge. The ahankara doesn't know the spelling of surrender. It has no clue how to surrender. It doesn't feel helpless at all, unless it is helpless for a little bit. It falls down and then it just dusts itself and says, I never fell. Yeah, but I saw it. No, that was photoshopped. I never fell. Ahankara is like that. So for this ahankara to bend and say, you know what, I really need this, I really want this, please give it to me, that is already a very big thing. Level 1. Level 2, whatever you want you give. And whatever you give, I will take. And then there is an even subtler growth from that level 2 surrender, which looks like, you know you know everything, and my life is going along in what is called your flow, and I'm okay. There is nothing to want. There is nothing to ask for. Just like when Lord Yama offered Nachiketa lots of money and what is that? Chain with gold chain with gems. What did Nachiketa say? Nachiketa says, I don't require money. Why? Having seen you, I know I'll be wealthy. Having had your darshan, of course I'll be wealthy. Why should I ask for that separately? That's a waste of a boon. So he was very clever. He teaches us many, many things. So surrender really means acceptance, which we really do not have. And so when we talk about surrender, our idea of surrender is praying for something and then complaining, Bhagavan does not answer my prayer. Of course, every prayer is answered. Sometimes the answer is no. That's all. That we have to be able to say, okay. Because that no is the face of Bhagavan right now. Or sometimes Bhagavan says, not yet. Your prarabdha, it has to change a little bit. Not yet. No. And that no I have to be able to take. Because that no comes from Bhagavan. Even though that no is said to me from the neighbor is not saying the no. Bhagavan is saying the no. I want to buy a house and then I go, but somebody else has beat me to it and made an offer and is ready to sign the contract also. Oh, but I really wanted this house. No, you can't have it, says the owner. That owner is what? The face of Ishvara, the message of Ishvara. So I have to be able to say, okay, this is not the time, or this is not supposed to be my house. No, but I know it's supposed to be my house. Why? It's my dream house. I dreamed of it. Well, that's on you then. That's one more subjective projection. So surrender is in phases. Slowly. The ahankara is very, very stubborn. Ahankara takes time to surrender. And as long as it's on the path of surrender, it's okay. Surrender means acceptance of what is. What is Ishvara. That is what is. And so whatever it is Ishvara. Looking at it like that, in that way, is surrender. Next. If the mind is grosser than some other koshas, then how is it said that the mind will lead you to Ishvara consciousness? How will it perceive something far subtler than itself? Because, very good question, fantastic questions. All of you are asking very nice questions. Because, you see, the mind is blessed by consciousness to become sentient. The mind by itself is useless. What is it? Inert, like prana, inert. Today Swamiji asked that question, people were thinking, is prana sentient or not? Prana by itself is insentient. Mind is also what? Insentient. Totally insentient. And now, but the mind, because it is made from the sattvic aspect of the 5 elements, it is got a special, what is that called? A quality to be able to reflect this consciousness. So the mind becomes the reflecting medium, as it were, for this Chidabhasa, Chit as it obtains in the mind. So the Chit lights up the mind lights up the sense organs light up the object, and then the mind also lights up the ahankara, and I say, I see, I hear. This is how the first opening words of the Drig Drishya Viveka are. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik. Rupam Drishyam. When there is a form to see, a sad little form because it's been there in a hot day all day long, but you get the idea. There is a form to see, and then what are the medium for the form to be seen? Eyes. Rupam Drishyam. This is the object. This is an object, Drishya, object of sight. And what is this? Who is the seer in relation to this? The eyes are the seer. Lochanam Drik. But then the person who is seeing this suddenly says, oh, there is a disturbance. Maybe an eyelash fell into my eye, most uncomfortable when that happens. Or some foreign body fell into my eyes. Now, what is the object? Eyes are the object because they are burning, they are itching, they are uncomfortable. And then, who is the seer? Mind is the seer. Tadrishtva, tadrishyam, when the eyes become an object of sight, then driktu manasam, the mind becomes drik, seer. Drik means seer, drishya, object of sight, seen. Seer, seen, viveka. Then drishyaha dhivrittayah. The thoughts that fall into the mind are illuminated by consciousness. Those thoughts are also what? Drishya or drik? Seen, seer or seen? Seen, yes. Because I see my thoughts. See means not exactly see, but I am aware of my thoughts. I observe my thoughts. Drishyaha dhivrittayah. Sakshi drik. The one that observes everything, all this whole chain of events, sees the flower, sees the eye, sees the mind, seeing the eye, sees the thoughts. That seer is called Sakshi. Sakshi Drik. Eva, only that Sakshi na drishyate. Sakshi Drik, Drigeva natu drishyate. So then the mind, you can see, is a chain in all this. The mind is sahakari, it has to be used properly, and then because it is blessed by consciousness, it is special. No other instrument is blessed by consciousness to become sentient, and so therefore it reflects that consciousness and allows me to make inferences and allows me to be the observer. Two tiny questions on a tiny piece of paper. Choices in the form of inert thoughts appear in the mind. I can identify with them and act on them, or I can let them pass by observing them as objects. Yes. Which would you like to choose? I think that's all the question. Then for Jiva, no, I think it's continue. Oh, page 2, not question 2. Okay, got it, yeah. So, you see 1 and 2 were in a little circle. So, this is page 2 or strip 2. Okay. So, for the Jiva, is identifying as witness consciousness the only act of free will there? It's not a free will. Will is not used in identifying as the consciousness. Will is used in not identifying as consciousness. In a way, I'm as good as the body. It's a habit. There also you can't say will. I just said that for as a joke. But there also there is no will. It's just here there is not a question of will. It's a bad habit because of ajnanam. Will is not. Is there will required in being yourself? No, no will required. If will was required to say, I am Satchidananda, I am Satchidananda, I am Satchidananda, I am Satchidananda, I am a Jnani, let me remember, I am a Jnani, then that will becomes greater than the self and greater than the self of self-knowledge. So will cannot be, what is that? Will is not greater than self-knowledge. To be the Sakshi, to be myself, does not require effort, does not require will. In the beginning, it looks like that, because when I have to get to the place of being a Sakshi, it feels very deliberate. It doesn't feel natural. What feels natural rather is just let the mind frog leap from one thought to another thought. That is natural. That's not natural. That's a habit. That's a habit. That is natural as a Vyavaharika, in the Vyavaharika Satta, in the empirical reality, yes, you can say it is natural. But it is not really natural. It is actually a kind of an inauthentic way of being, identifying with a body. Because how do we know it is not authentic? Because each time I identify with the body, I land in a ditch of tears, sorrow. Each time you identify in the mind, you land in another ditch. Each time you identify with something, you are bored, you are tired. But when you identify with the Sakshi, when you are already identified as with a Sakshi, but when you are aware of that, then it is effortless. But because the force of the samskaras are so much, it seems like this is more real. What this means, the empirical reality becomes more real than Paramarthika. So that's why we withdraw, we take some time to withdraw. That's why we get comfortable with that I, which is this self. We get comfortable with that. So that is what it is. So here, what was that? Yeah. So is the only act of truth? No, the only act of free will is praying and reaching out. That is what it is. Because here this is not will based. Even when I surrender my pain to Shiva, I sometimes cry. That's good. It's a catharsis. Shiva becomes a therapist. Yes, the best therapist. Shiva, Vishnu, Durga, all of them are super therapists because they don't have their own issues. You go to the therapist and after the fourth meeting, the therapist is late. And then you say, why are you late? Don't you see I have abandonment issues? And if you are late, I think I am being abandoned. And then the therapist says, you may have abandonment issues, I have marital issues. Okay, so I have to save my marriage. That's why I was late. And so like this, there is disappointment. Because who is the therapist? After all, he or she is a human being, fallible, with their own shortcomings. And they also have what is called, what is it called? Blind areas. Like when you're driving a car, you can't immediately see what is here. You can see what is in the back. You can see what is in the other lanes perhaps. But what is immediately right there, there is a blind spot. So every person will have their own blind spot, their own biases, etc. You make Shiva your therapist. It's not there at all. Why? What is Shiva? That which is infallible is Shiva. And so, even if you go to temple and try to look at the face of Shiva, always smiling and like this. Don't fear, I am here. You can tell this icon anything. You can say, you're an idiot. Why did you give me this kind of a parentage? Still smiling. Yeah, doesn't say anything. What were you thinking? Why did you give me this kind of a life? Why did I not discover Vedanta 3 lifetimes ago? So, these kinds of, in our tradition, these kinds of talk becomes prayer. That is how the Sri Rudram starts. Sri Rudram is a very sacred prayer, and if you know Sanskrit, you will see what it is saying. And what does it say? Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. First of all, you have to know what Rudra is. Sarvan Rodayati iti Rudraha. The Bhagavan that makes everyone cry. What? He is sadistic or what? No, he is not sadistic. He is giving karma phala, the result of action. Seeing that result of action, I start to cry. And then Bhagavan feels sorry that you are crying, takes one hanky and dabs the tears. Rudanam dravayati. Makes the tears stop, flow away. Hanky Bhagavan. Okay? And so this Rudra, this Sri Rudram, one of the holiest chants in the Yajurveda, starts off like this. Namaste. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Unto this Rudra, Namaha. But it is not a Namaha of surrender, it's a Namaha of fear. You look mean. You look terrifying. I don't like you very much. I feel like running away. And why do you need a bow and an arrow? Whose idea was this? Why do you need a bow and arrow and OMG? Why? Why are you saying OMG? That arrow is pointed at me. Karma phala dipped arrow. Okay? They say poison tipped arrow. It's not poison, it's karma phala. Some good things are also there. But I see only the bad things because of my own fear. And then what? I get into there are apparently, when one is in a traumatic situation, there are 4 kinds of responses. Okay, the psychologists will tell. The first response is flight. You run away from there as fast as your legs will carry you. You can run away from the temple, but you can't run away from Rudra, especially if Rudra is in the form of karma phala, because it is with you everywhere. And Rudra ultimately is you. You cannot run away from you. So flight is one response, and the other one is of course fright. Fright means you are so frightened of this whole scenario. That's another trauma response. And the third one is freeze. Paralyzed like a deer confronted by the headlights of a car. And then the last response is fawn. Fawn means you please the person of whom you are scared so that they are in your corner. And here the bhaktas who have chosen this particular response here. Oh, look what lovely arms you have. Namaha to them, they look kind of big, and I know you've been working out. Namaste astu dhanvane. Namaha to your bow. Namaha to your arrows. Namaha to all the things that surround you. And look, don't point them at me. Look, that person is worse. I know all about this fellow. And they have not been following dharma. This one here is a thief. That one here is just mean. Go over there. There are plenty of people to choose from. Why are you coming at me? This is how the Sri Rudram starts. And everything is allowed. Crying is allowed. That's a catharsis. That's a venting, because you can't do that with anybody else. Even the therapist will one day run away and will one day say, I cannot help you. Or will tell you it is all the fault of your parents. Because your parents were like this, you are like that. Doesn't sit well in in the Vedic heart cannot sit well in the Vedic heart because we know better. The parents too have their own problems. They are not infallible. We know that. There must be something. We can't just take it all to the parents. And Indian parents are made of tough material, really tough. Now, when the adult child goes and tells the parents, it's all because of you, and because of you my life and my opportunities have gone, if you try to tell them that, they will say, well, I don't see what you are complaining about because now you are having the opportunity to complain. Where have I taken your opportunity? And besides, you are over 21, go deal with it. This is what the Indian parents will say. So you have to transcend that. You have to transcend these individuals, individual here, actors, individual actors, and go to the source of that which is the cause of this parentage. And so, yes, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be overwhelmed. It's okay to abuse Bhagavan, because in our tradition it's not blasphemy. It is prayer. And so, what is the role of pain in the path of self-knowledge? Yeah, pain is that which gives you the impetus to grow. Can it be sacred too? You bet. When the heart is distracted by emotions or someone else's presence and the mind cannot focus on Vedanta, is it a test or is it a trap? Binary choice. I like this. How to handle this? When the heart is distracted by emotions, whose emotions? $1 million question here. Are you distracted by somebody else's emotions or your own emotions? And if the answer is latter, then it's your own emotions. And that means what? You have to come to terms with your own emotions. Why? Why do I have to come to terms with my own emotions? Because you have free will. Free will is there to emote. Free will is there to take care of the emotions also. And then the other example was given, somebody else's presence. Okay, so if I am distracted by somebody else's presence, whose problem is that? ये किसका problem है? Whose problem is that? Because the choices here are not many. I can tell the disturbing, distracting presence, shoo, go away. Okay? And they say, no, I will not go away. Now what choice do I have? I can go away, correct? I can go away, but I can't go away. I don't want to go away. Why? Because Vedanta is being taught at this minute. What to do? How to handle it? Change your seat. Change your seat. Little far away. Maybe you exchange with somebody else, and the new person sitting there, maybe they will not find this person annoying. We hope. And if they find it annoying, say sorry and change it back. You go back to the annoying person. Doesn't matter. Or you grow out of it. You grow because you understand that actually the annoying person, who you are calling the annoying presence, is giving the disturbing presence, distracting presence, is giving you a present. Their presence is your present. Why is it a present? It's a great gift. Because they are giving you one more thing that you need to take care of within yourself. Give them a flower, give them a rose. When? Rose. Every day. Give them a rose. Say thank you. You don't even have to tell them the reason. Say this is for you. Oh really? I thought you didn't like me. Nonsense, you say. I don't know why you thought I didn't like you. And maybe they'll stop becoming annoying. This was Pujya Swamiji's remedy with whoever you had a fight. No, he didn't talk about distracting and annoying presences. He talked about a fight. When you have a fight with somebody and you are standing like Navagrahas, not facing each other at all, and what do? How do you overcome this? And Pujya Swamiji would say, give them a rose. No, it's their fault. Why should I give? Just give. They'll think it's strange. They won't think it's strange. You tell them, my guru told me to give you a flower. Just do that. So how will you give the flower the first day? You don't even feel like looking at the person. Here, take it and go. Yeah. Or maybe the first day you throw it at them and then you get away from there. Second day you just hold it. And the third day, let's see how much this idiot is gloating, receiving the flower. Shameless person, receiving the flower every day after day after day. Stupid person, let me see. But once the eyes meet, there is nothing there. It all gets liquidated. So there are many ways of handling it. And if one is disturbed by somebody else's presence, the roots of those disturbances are here. We have an adage in the English language, an idiom, which is very much relevant for Vedanta. And what is that? If you spot it, you got it. Meaning if you notice something somewhere, the roots of that lie within you. That's why you are noticing it. So is it a test? Test of what? Your endurance? No, it is not, because you have much more endurance than you think. Is it a trap? It's neither a test nor is it a trap. It cannot be a trap. Why? Because you are dealing with it. If you don't deal with it, it's a trap. What is Hiranyagarbha? Seriously, I thought we answered that. Yeah. What was Hiranyagarbha? Bhagavan, potential to create. Hiranyagarbha. Okay? How can I relate to in this body? Your dream state is connected to Hiranyagarbha. Okay? And in the dream state, you are also you are a potential dreamer with a desire to create so many things in the dream. So in that sense, there is a parallel. As a sleeper, you are Ishvara. As a dreamer, you are Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha at the macro level, and then the individual dreamer, Taijasa, at the micro level. And then as a waker, you are Vishwa, and then the waking world, the cosmos, the waking world on the total side is Virat. What is the causal body? Ignorance. The cause of this body is called causal body. What caused this body? Ignorance. How can the individual buddhi resolve in the total buddhi? Through prayer and meditation. How can the total buddhi resolve in Shantatma? It's already resolved. It's not that the buddhi has to be, put on a leash and then walked to this. And then buddhi resolves in buddhi, and then it has to resolve in Atma. It's already resolved. It's that understanding that it is resolved is away from me. So therefore I have to go through the motions of calming the mind and allowing the buddhi to be, and aligning the buddhi with Ishvara through all these meditations, etc. that we do. In meditation we have, we are focusing for these 3 months on 4 different themes. One is the order, that is Ishvara, the various orders. Then the other one is how to do japa. And the third one here is very important, is about these kinds of resolutions, understanding and resolving, seeing everything as one. So that is how it is taken care of. Last one. The 5 elements were created successively. We say successively because we don't have language. Successively doesn't mean after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, because time itself is part of the creation. So successively means what? In time, correct? What do we mean by successively? In time, one after the other. That means we are marking time. Just like when twins are born, they are never born at once, they are born successively. First, one little fellow comes out, and then the doctor will mark the time 8:02 p.m. and then 5-10 minutes later the other one comes out. Oh, when was she born? 8:07. They are 5 minutes apart. They were born successively. And so, what is this? What is the antara? What is the gap when you say successively? It is the notion of time. And time is indeed a notion, because it is also a created aspect. It is also part of the creation. It's not absolute. It's not that the creation unfolded in time. Creation does not unfold in time. It's all happening. And physicists talk about this. When they talk about an expanding universe, it's not that it's going to expand when no one is looking. It's expanding as we speak. It's an expanding universe. And so too here, the 5 elements, tasmadva etasmat atmanah akashas sambhutah. So successively must not be taken to mark time. Successively must be taken to chart the journey of the 5 elements from the grossest to the subtlest. Sorry, the other way around. From the subtlest to the grossest. Akashah, very subtle. You cannot objectify Akasha at all, hardly. Only through sound. So if I make a sound like this, it is in space. Sound and space go together. From this space came Vayu, air. So the space has this, what's its name? The space has only one sense organ that can kind of barely objectify it. And what is that? Ears. And then Vayu is objectified by 2 sense organs. The ear inheres, continues, and then one more. What is the other one? Touch from your skin. And then Vayoho Agnihi. Agni becomes special because that's why it is used in the yajnas a lot, because it's the first one that we can see. The other 2 you can't see at all. And we are heavily dependent on eyesight. So this is the first element you can see, Agni Devata, and then the sound. Does it make the fire make a sound? Yes, that crackling sound it makes. And then can you touch fire? Yes, but I don't want to. So yes, technically it is possible to touch fire. Alas, I have found out by accidentally touching it. Everybody has had that experience, and so touch is there, sound is there, and what is its own unique feature? Sight. It's objectified by sight. Then Agnehe Apaha, from the fire the waters came. And then the water again can be objectified by 4 sense organs. The first 3 belonging to space and who else? Space, wind and fire. And then taste. Water has no taste. That is its taste. That is its taste. And then finally, from water came the earth, and then Gandhavati Prithivi. When it rains, you get the smell of what? The earth. That is the earthly fragrance. And so successively doesn't mean in time. Successively means kramena, in a sequence, where in a logical sequence, because we can assimilate it as we are studying it. We can assimilate this very easily. From the subtlest to the grossest, there is a journey. So when you say space was created, time also was created along with space. So time is not something that was already there, arbitrarily there. Okay. Yeah, we have finished. Anybody wants to sing, chant? Doesn't matter. We'll just close your eyes a little bit, and maybe we can turn off a couple of these lights. Letting the day go, with every breath. Every inhalation fills up my body, my mind with freshness. Every exhalation, I visualize the tiredness leaving the body. Any kind of lack of enthusiasm leaving the mind. Long, full, deep breaths. Next time I inhale, I recall the regrets of the day, things I should not have said, things I should not have perhaps done, things I could have done better. And the next time I exhale, I just acknowledge this, observe this, and let it go. I forgive myself. I see that in matters of spiritual growth, it's not always in a straight line, it's not linear. There are ways I go back and forth, and that is okay. That is okay with me. क्षन्तव्यो मे पराध शिव 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 भो श्री महादेव शंभो. And whenever I inhale next, no pressure, I recall the omissions and commissions of others towards me. Why did they say what they said? Why did they do what they did? And the next time I exhale, I let it go. I do not want to take it to my bed. My bed is a sacred place where I welcome Ishvara in the form of sleep. These thoughts of resentment, regret do not belong there. I give the other person a benefit of doubt. Next time I inhale, I recall all the remaining fears, tears, and when I exhale, I let them all go. Praying for good, refreshing sleep and the sweetest of dreams. Ramaskandam Hanumantam Vainateyam Vrikodaram Shayane Yasmaren Nityam Dusvapnam Tasya Nashyatihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.